A rational function needs to be handled with care. It's a special function because the function in its denominator needs to be checked very carefully when we are looking for permissible input values for its domain. The rational function also gives us this added headache because there may be a horizontal asymptote or a vertical asymptote, and we need to account for that too. So, what do you think is going to happen when we flip the domain and the range in our pursuit for the inverse of a rational function? Let's find out. The function we're looking at is f of x is 2x minus 5 over x plus 3. Okay. The procedure to find the inverse is the same, interchanging x and y, making the new y the subject of the formula. But I'm interested in first writing down the domain, the range, the vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote, and exploring that way. So when we write the domain of f, we can see clearly that x equals negative 3 is going to make the denominator 0. There's going to be a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 3. So you have to exclude negative 3 from the domain, and we can write the domain as negative infinity, comma negative 3, union negative 3, infinity. Okay, and because at x equals negative 3, there's a vertical asymptote. That's the equation of the vertical asymptote. And in the same way, when you look for the horizontal asymptote, you can see this is a case of the numerator and the denominator being of the same degree. So you're looking for the coefficients of each. And so you can say that the horizontal asymptote is happening at y is equal to 2. All right, which also gives us the indicator that for the range, if you were to write down the range of the function, you can clearly say that that's going to be negative infinity to 2 and 2 to infinity, which means that both the asymptotes, the horizontal and the vertical asymptotes that we found, they are excluded from the domain, as you can see here, and the range, as you can see here. Okay, let's try and verify this on the graph. So here's my graph, and that's the function that we have, 2x minus 5 over x plus 3, the rational function. And clearly you can see that x equals negative 3, you've got the vertical asymptote, y equals 2, you've got the horizontal asymptote, and that will not belong to the domain or the range. Cool. Now, when we interchange x and y to find the inverse of this rational function, I'm interested in finding out what actually happens to these asymptotes. Ready? Let's do it algebraically, and then we'll come back to this calculator and then check what's going to happen. All right. So let's do the interchange process. So what we're going to do is that I'm going to write the function here as y is equal to 2x minus 5, the whole thing divided by x plus 3. Okay, it's visible. Cool. And now we are going to interchange. So I write this notation to let everyone know that we are interchanging x and y. So our equation becomes x is equal to 2y minus 5, the whole thing over y plus 3. Now let's cross multiply to get xy plus 3x is equal to 2y minus 5. We'll bring the y terms on the left hand side. So this will become xy minus 2y is equal to negative 3x minus 5. And factoring y would give us minus 2 equals a negative 3x minus 5. And y must be equal to negative 3x minus 5 over x minus 2. This new y that we have found out should be the inverse of the function, and that's another rational function, negative 3x minus 5 over x minus 2. So let's examine this inverse function for any possible vertical or horizontal asymptotes. When we look at the denominator, we can clearly see that the denominator becomes 0 at x equals 2. So the vertical asymptote for this inverse function is going to be x is equal to 2. And the domain also, the domain of the inverse, let me make sure that this is visible, is going to be negative infinity to 2 and union 2 to infinity. Okay, is this visible? Yeah, now it is visible. Okay, and then in the same way, when we look for the horizontal asymptote, you can see that again, it's the case of the numerator and the denominator being of the same degree. So the horizontal asymptote is going to be just the ratio of the coefficients of those x terms. You're going to get the horizontal asymptote as y equals negative 3. And again, the range of the inverse, because of that horizontal asymptote, you're going to exclude that value, and you're going to say negative infinity to negative 3 union negative 3 infinity. All right, can you see that? Okay, now let's compare with the original function. The original function, the vertical asymptote was at x is equal to negative 3. And now for the inverse, the horizontal asymptote is happening at y is equal to negative 3. Can you see that? And for the inverse, the vertical asymptote was happening at x equals 2. And here, for the original function, the horizontal asymptote was happening at y equals 2. Let's confirm this with the graph, shall we? Here we go. This green graph now is the graph of the inverse. You can see that negative 3x minus 5 over x minus 2. And the blue graph is our original function. I'm just going to move this label away. I'm just going to activate the asymptotes that I already had entered there. So the asymptote y equals negative 3 and x equals negative. There in magenta, you can see y equals negative 3. Okay, that's y equals negative 3. This looks very crowded, but try and focus with me. We had x equals negative 3 as the vertical asymptote of the original function, and now we have y equals negative 3, the horizontal asymptote of the inverse function. We had y equals 2 as the horizontal asymptote of the original function, and now we have x equals to becoming the vertical asymptote of the inverse function. Let me just close the original function so that you can see that better. Okay, so I go to my relations, and if I just went too far, let me just close this one and maybe close this one, and you might be able to see better now. Okay, so the asymptotes in magenta, y equals negative 3 and x equals 2, are the horizontal and the vertical asymptotes of the inverse function. Maybe we can even hide the blue graph, the original graph, and so that we can see the inverse function more clearly. And this is the inverse we found by interchanging the x and y, interchanging the domain and the range. And as a result, what has happened is the function has a vertical asymptote at x equals negative 3, but its inverse has a horizontal asymptote at y equals negative 3. The function has a horizontal asymptote at y equals 2, and its inverse has a vertical asymptote at x equals 2. This is fascinating to note that when we are interchanging the domain and the range, the vertical and the horizontal asymptotes, wherever they occur, will also get interchanged. Okay, example 2 of a rational function. This is the second rational function, 2x minus 1 over 3x plus 4. In this, to find the inverse of this rational function, we're going to explore a shortcut. You can use this shortcut if you're appearing for an entrance exam where you don't have to show the working and it's just a multiple choice question. This is a shortcut which will be helpful. Okay, so watch this. You have a rational function, and it will only work in the case of a numerator and the denominator being of the linear form. That means you need to have a function like this, f of x is equal to ax plus b over, can you see this, cx plus d. And clearly we need to have the condition that the denominator must not be equal to 0 for this function to exist. So x cannot be equal to negative d over c. Okay, that's the condition for this rational function. So in general, when you have a rational function of this kind and you don't have to show the working, it's some kind of an entrance exam, you can use this shortcut. What you got to do is that you just interchange the positions of a and d. Okay, with its sign, whatever the sign is, you just interchange a and d. So the inverse of f would just be dx over a. I'm just going to interchange that. So whatever the sign of a, you bring it down here. Whatever the sign was d, you just replace a and d, just replace the positions, interchange the positions basically. And for b and c, what you do is that you just reverse their signs. If it was positive, you make it negative. If it was negative, you make it positive. Okay, so this will be minus b and this will be a minus cx. Okay, I'll make that plus. So a and d just interchange their positions with their signs. B and c reverse their signs. Okay, and that should be the inverse. And you can check it out. But let's use this technique, this shortcut technique, to find the inverse of this function, 2x minus 1 over 3x plus 4. And we're going to use the same technique. Like I said, interchange these two positions. The inverse of the function would just be 4x. And here we can write 2. And you're going to reverse the sign. So this is going to be plus 1. And this is going to be a minus 3x. And that's just plus 2. So this is going to be the inverse of the given rational function. So what did we learn today? We saw that when we interchange the domain and the range while finding the inverse of a rational function, even the horizontal asymptote and the vertical asymptote kind of get interchanged. Where the function has a horizontal asymptote, its inverse will have a vertical asymptote. And where the function has a vertical asymptote, its inverse will have a horizontal asymptote. Now, does that mean that every feature of a function gets interchanged with its inverse when we are interchanging the domain and the range? Algebra can get very mechanical. You can even find super cool shortcuts to find the inverse of a rational function in, like 2 seconds or 3 seconds. But don't make the algebra so procedural and mechanical, like interchanging x and y and making y the subject of the formula, that you don't stop and think about what features actually get interchanged. What are some of those features that do not get interchanged, and why is it so? My name is John Paul Raj, and my mission in life is to make the learning of math fun.